game ball, and this one is a
how
little
about,
close.
I'm sorry to cut you off again, Ball, but since we're talking about the Thanksgiving Day games and how bad they sucked, I figured I could give you a little bright spot from that day with my game ball.
Let's hear it.
I'm going with the stud tight end for the Washington Redskins. Despite the loss, I don't like to give the game ball to the guys in the loss, but this guy certainly deserved it. That's tight end Jordan Reed. This guy in the second quarter of the game sprained his AC joint, separated his shoulder pretty much, and came back in the game, played the entire game, a true warrior. Caught 10 balls for 95 yards and 2 big scores in the game, 2 touchdowns. That's good for a 26.5 PPR fantasy leagues, and I mean, the fact that the dude pulled his shoulder or separated it and still came back against one of the league's tougher defenses and put in work like that, I mean, Jordan Reed deserves my game ball all day. And he was one of the few bright spots that Thursday presented.
He's a stud. One of the few studs at tight end that are left in the league, sadly.
Yeah. He really is. There's him, Greg Olson, and I think Delaney Walker are the only ones who average above 10 points in fantasy this year.
You would usually say Gronk, but he's been injury-plagued all season.
Inconsistent and in and out of the lineup all year, unfortunately. But yeah, I have to go Jordan Reed. He was really incredible on Thursday. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, he killed it. And what's even crazier is that Vernon Davis still got his 5 catches, 68 yards. So
15 catches to tight ends. Like, that's absurd.
They're throwing a lot.
Yeah, the Redskins really like the tight end position.
They lead the league in passing, too. They move the ball regardless.
They kind of got like a mini version of the whole Rob Gronkowski and
Martellus.
Aaron Hernandez.
What?
That was way more dominant than Martellus. Martellus Bennett, unfortunately, I thought that was going to be like the next big 2 tight end thing. It's with Tom Brady, it's either Gronk or Martellus Bennett. It's not both of them like it used to be.
Well, you don't get both of them in the same game that often either. One of them's always hurt.
Their offense is based out of that 2 tight end formation. So they try and do it. They just, I don't know. And with Gronk out the other week, Martellus Bennett didn't eat either. So
yeah, that's true.
That was supposed to be a dominant duo, and they really needed it this year because, especially now with Gronk banged up, their whole receiving core is banged up as well. Edelman really hasn't been what he was supposed to be. They do got that bright spot in that kid last week, Malcolm Mitchell.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. I don't care. He's a Patriot. Doesn't matter. But yeah,
don't you talk about Malcolm Mitchell like that.
We're gonna keep going with game balls. I forget where I was going there. So
going off on tangents, Ball.
Craig, did you have someone from the Thanksgiving game?
Actually, I did.
There had to be another bright spot, right?
And I thought it was the wrong game you picked.
It was actually the worst game of the night, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Scott Tolzien in at quarterback. It wasn't even bearable to watch.
The Wisconsin Badger? Scott Tolzien?
Wisconsin Pride, man.
I think he started like 3 games in his career, maybe, or something like that. But on the other side of that was the stud, Antonio Brown, who I've already given a game ball to this season. But he always deserves a game ball because he's one of the most prolific wide receivers in the game. Always going to be a top 3 wideout, at least while he plays, in my opinion. He had 5 catches for 91 yards, 2 first-half touchdowns, and then a second-half touchdown. So he had 3 touchdowns, finished with a 29.5 in the half PPR league. Every week he shows up. He's getting double digits every time he plays, except for 2 weeks this season he's been under double digits. But other than that, he's had at least 14.5 or more. So he's someone who's reliable and always finds the end zone. He's got 10 touchdowns on the year, which is absurd. 10 touchdowns for 11 weeks because he's already had his bye. So he's basically getting you a touchdown every week. And the only other person who's on pace with that is Mike Evans. Mike Evans also has 10 touchdowns in 11 weeks. And those two have really been the best at the wide receiver position this season.
Mama said, if you don't got something nice to say about somebody, you don't say it at all. So I'm just going to keep quiet about Ant Brown. That's all I'm gonna
There's
say.
literally nothing bad you could ever say about
he's
Brown.
he's a stud.
Because he took your number 1 corner of the house 3 times, Bass. Vontae Davis played his tail off.
He made him like a dumb.
And that's why I'm not saying nothing.
He treated him like
he's disrespectful, kid.
What round was Vontae drafted in?
First round pick.
Yeah, and Ant Brown was a 6th round pick.
Yeah, but we only had to trade a 3rd for him, which was pretty dope. So technically, he was like a 2nd round pick if
that
you
means
average
nothing.
it out.
He was picked in the first round by the Miami Dolphins.
He's a stud. I mean, if you don't give somebody safety help over the top on a guy like Ant Brown, who is arguably next to probably Julio Jones, the best receiver, not only in fantasy, but in the entire league, big things are going to happen. And Vontae Davis, while a solid corner, is not what he was a couple years ago. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But, yeah, that was an unfortunate game. Good game ball, but wrong player. I'm going to give you the right player. This week, I've also given this guy game ball before, and boy, do I love him. This week, I'm going to give my game ball back to Mark Ingram. Big game. Apparently, wasn't he benched like 4 weeks ago?
He got benched for that fumble.
The fumble. And then has proceeded to go off, man. And last week was no different versus the Rams at home. Mark Ingram was a big reason they put up 49 points. 14 carries for 146 yards, 10 yards a carry, 1 touchdown on the ground, 1 catch for 21 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
Standard fantasy scoring, that's 28 points for the big man.
Wow.
My God, ever since that benching, he had 2 games where he only put up a 7 in fantasy, which honestly is about the lowest I would take. But week 9 against San Fran after that benching 29, and then this week 28.5. Mark Ingram is starting to show why he was a running back, considered a running back 1 in the beginning of the season. And he's getting another game ball. Might even end up being Game Ball Player of the Year.
He better not
I
be.
seriously.
The Game Ball of the Year.
He does not.
I might just keep picking him.
I would like to add a interesting anecdote to that ball, and I'd like to point out that Tim Hightower has had more carries than Mark Ingram in the last 3 games.
Oh.
My last 3 games, starting at Denver in Week 10, Ingram had 11 carries. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not the last 2 he's had more carries. Ingram had 11 carries in Denver to Hightower's 8, and then at Carolina, Ingram had 7 to Hightower's 12, and last week 14 for Ingram and 15 for Hightower. I think it's interesting how they become a dual threat in the backfield, but it's working where it's kind of like the 2-system back that we saw earlier with Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, where both players are producing in the amount of action that they're getting. Hightower got a 17 last week and a 15 the week before. He's getting over 50 yards rushing, and he's also got over 50 yards receiving in both games. And he threw for a touchdown last week, finished with 17 points. So I think it's interesting to kind of see where the dynamic of that backfield is headed. I feel like it's still murky water as to who they actually like as their lead back.
Yeah, both backs see around the same amount of touches, so
Yeah,
it's tough to
so it's weird
to gauge who's going to be the number 1.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out, because you would think that Ingram would be the hands down the running back that the Saints would be going with, but it's not looking that way. It's looking like they're like splitting the field with it. I mean, Hightower, since he came in off of that fumble, he's put up double digits all but 1 week, and that's 5 weeks in a row with 1 single-digit performance. I think that's pretty impressive for a guy who hadn't done anything in the previous, what was it, like 6 games. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you saw last year, too, when Tim Hightower came in, he absolutely took the league by storm. And the thing is, since it's working, they're going to keep playing him like this. But these are guys that should be considered right now running back 1s. And, well, not every week, but they're both can be considered.
It's looking to be every week.
Yeah, a running back 1. And either way, these guys are must-starts. Even if you're starting them at your flex, both guys are doing, like you said, with the limited amount of work, both killing it for fantasy owners. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're really going to truly pick a lead back. I don't think either of them are considered the lead back. But yeah, this committee is working out pretty nicely, and hey, I can't complain about it. Mark Ingram's been doing me dirty. In a good way.
I was going to say, not really doing you dirty.
He's doing me, yeah.
He's doing you right.
He's doing me real right. But alright, Pace, how about you finish us up with that 4th and final
Yeah, Pace,
game
go ahead
ball?
and keep talking.
All right, I gotcha. Well, you guys did a nice job covering that that New Orleans run game, but I'm going to have to turn the focus over to their passing attack for my game ball.
Wow.
This week I'm giving mine to Mike Thomas, wide receiver for the Saints.
Mike Thomas.
It's Mike Thomas. out of Drew Brees' 310 passing yards and 4 touchdown day, Mark Ingram accounted for 2 of those touchdowns and 108 of those yards. Brees targeted him 10 times, and he hauled in 9 catches, which is a great ratio. A 35-yard long play, and averaged 12 yards per catch. Led the Saints in receiving for the day against the Rams defense that isn't known for stopping the pass, but still solid D. But Mike Thomas is getting that game ball. He has been really consistent, averaging about 13 points per game in our half-point PPR league, which is a consistent guy you want going into the playoffs. And I think if you own Mike Thomas, anytime the Saints are at home playing in that dome, you start him. He's been having really good games at home. This is his second 100-yard game of the year, his second 2-touchdown game of the year. And it's nice to see that late in the season. So keep an eye on Mike Thomas. He's owned by most leagues already, obviously. But if you have him, I think, like I said, if Saints are at home, you're starting him. And I didn't this week, but that's for other reasons that I will not disclose. But he's getting my game ball.
Why wouldn't you disclose it?
I was just trying some obscure strategies out this week with my fantasy team.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Worked out great. Got a win. I'm very happy.
Yeah, wins are always cool.
Wins are cool, man.
I wish I got a couple.
I'm trying to finish above 500. That'd be great.
No doubt. That's definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fiending to go from last to 5th place, dog. That'd be pretty good.
Mike Thomas is definitely the best rookie out of the wide receiver group that we've seen. I mean, Sterling Shepard's shown that he definitely has the potential to become a great wide receiver, but there's also so many options. I mean, there's so many options on New Orleans too, but
Yeah.
Mike Thomas has been the most consistent throughout the whole season. His height, especially, Drew Brees loves him in the red zone.
And his speed, too, is incredible.
Yeah, he's proven... How many touchdowns does he have? 2, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6, 7. 7 on the season.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns. So he's definitely good on that, and we all know touchdowns are the most important thing in fantasy. So he's got to be like in the top 10 for touchdowns, if not top 6. I would be surprised. Definitely one of the more consistent players that you can play week in and week out.
Yeah, and is it crazy to say that Michael Thomas might actually be taking the job from Brandon Cooks this year?
I think he might end up being the number 1 wide receiver for them by the end of the season, for sure.
All I know is every single week it seems like Michael Thomas is eating up all the targets, and slowly but surely Brandon Cooks is slowly dying in that offense.
It even seems like Willie Snead has kind of cemented his role as the number 2 next to Thomas. Like, Cooks might find his way out of a job. Brandon Coleman has scored a touchdown the last 2 weeks for the Saints.
Pissing me off. I keep hearing Brandon, and then it changes to Coleman, not Cooks. And I'm like,
You throw Fleener, Ingram, and Hightower there out of the backfield. It's a very crowded field, and Cooks might find his way out of there soon.
Fleener's been playing a lot better recently, too.
I don't know if he so much as completely falls off the offense, because if they do end up moving him to the slot, he would be a great slot receiver.
He's the perfect third receiver. A little fast slot guy. That's great.
Now, you got to learn how to be a slot receiver. He's been the outside receiver for most of his career. He's been like the only receiver over there. Drew Brees just makes it work with everybody. But yeah, I think they found something special in that Mike Thomas kid. He is a boss.
What round is he taking in?
I think it's 2nd or 3rd.
Second or third? Yeah.
Nah, he wasn't a first-round pick. I don't think there was many. There was those 3. Yeah, it was the Doxson, Treadwell, and...
No, it's Coleman.
Tyler Boyd.
Fuller,
were like the 3.
Coleman.
Tyler Boyd went in the 3rd or 4th round, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
It was Coleman and Fuller and...
Fuller as well.
Yeah.
Treadwell.
And Treadwell. I think that was the 3rd.
There's another one, too.
And Treadwell's finally starting to see the field.
Finally. Apparently it took him a while to grasp the playbook.
Yeah,
Hopefully he comes around, though. He's super talented.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've seen he's played out of they ranked the rookie receivers. He's the 29th in receptions, 26th in yards, 29th in touchdowns, and I forget. Oh man, I can't think of the snaps. The snaps were pretty high actually. So it's crazy, like, to see that he was considered the best receiver in that draft, and fantasy wise has been nothing. I know I wanted to go get Treadwell. I saw some big things going down before that Teddy Bridgewater injury, but even with Bradford, I was expecting a lot out of him. Hasn't really done nothing.
True. Yeah, well, Bradford's a bum.
But yeah, that's our game balls for the week. Some nice ones. We got 2 Saints up there, but that happens when you score 49 points. I mean, before this, we were talking about just giving it all to Saints, and you realistically could have with Hightower and Drew Brees in there.
That's true.
I don't know what they put up in fantasy, but the Saints defense actually hasn't looked trash. I thought
The
they
Saints
were terrible.
defense put up a 9.
They put
I
up a
actually
9.
picked them
Yeah.
up to
Like-
play, and then I didn't, which was dumb on my part. I went with the Dolphins, who ended up getting a -1, so I regret that.
I feel like instead of going a year forward, the NFL completely went in a parallel universe where up is down and right is left. I don't get what's going on.
Feels
this
that
year.
way.
It is a weird year.
Definitely weird. And that's actually talking about flipped upside down real quick. One of the things I was thinking of earlier today, especially since we got playoffs coming up. Now,
Yes, sir.
our league, we're sick of Week 17. First year I got ruined by, I'll give you a little story time. First year, your boy got into the championship. And then Week 17, I'm up. I'm up by like 30 points going into the last week, Week 17. Tom Brady. Oh, I was rolling, man. I was ready. I was ready to claim that money right then, right there. Tom Brady playing the Dolphins. Okay, this is 5 years ago. Dolphins trash.
Easy
Tom
money
Brady
right there.
kills them. Tom Brady goes on to put up the worst first half I've ever seen. Tom Brady put up no touchdowns. It looked like he was playing the Baltimore Ravens 2000 defense right there. And then on top of that, not only is Tom Brady playing like trash, they then sit him for a whole another half just because they already made the playoffs. So the moral of that story is we don't do Week 17 anymore. We're not going to do that. So this week you might be starting your playoffs if you're smart like us. Otherwise, it's next week. You only got 1 week at most.
Gotta prepare, gotta be ready.
And that means we going to be talking about playoffs this week.
Playoffs.
Like I said, this brought it up perfectly. I was thinking earlier, I'm not going to make the playoffs with him, but Cam Newton, this is a guy who was drafted heavily, considered the top quarterback coming into the season, has completely took a 180. Like I said, parallel universe, and is actually one of the worst starting quarterbacks you can find out there. My question, going into playoffs, can you trust Cam Newton anymore?
I'd have to look at his schedule. I'd have to see who
I'm bringing that
the
up for you
matchups
right
are. Yeah, you'd have to tell me who the matchups are. But in all honesty, I never trust Cam in general because I saw what happened to him in his sophomore slump. And that seems to be a consistent thing with him. I mean, last year was kind of the same as his rookie year where he had the 8 rushing touchdowns and 25 plus passing touchdowns and was a stud. Mm-hmm. But the other seasons, if you look at it for fantasy wise, he hasn't been that spectacular or that consistent for that matter.
Okay, so his upcoming schedule is actually pretty difficult. I just looked it up. He's at Seattle this week. Home against San Diego, which, believe it or not, is a top 10 defense this year.
Yeah.
At Washington, who's another underrated defense as well. And then he finally gets 2 breaks if you have a chance to make it to the championship still using Cam. Atlanta and Tampa Bay to finish the year, but they're still division games, which will be tough for him.
Yeah, and at Tampa Bay, I mean, look what they just did to Seattle. I don't know if that's
True.
really an easy
They're
matchup.
two similar
anymore.
teams, Carolina and Seattle.
Who's their cornerback? Werner?
Hargreaves.
Hargraves, and I think it's
Hargraves is now like their fourth
Algeron
or
Werner.
No,
Algeron
Hargreaves is
Werner
dirty.
is sick, man. Just had those 2 picks last week
I
against.
thought they had Brent Grimes as well.
They might. I
They
know
do.
that
they have
Hargraves
Grimes.
is been was downgraded because he was one of their starters, and then he just played like trash.
No, I mean,
this year.
at Tampa, the last game of the year is going to mean something
Yeah.
as well. So, I mean, Tampa's going to have something to play for. They have a pretty good day.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see what Carolina's gone through. Like I said, I'm not going to make the playoffs with Cam, but even if I was, I've seriously been thinking about trying to find a guy, even like a Tyrod Taylor,
To answer
with
your
Sammy
question-
Watkins back. Oh, you never answered.
To answer your question, I would not trust Cam.
I'm sorry.
I think
Those
he-
2 weeks coming up
Yeah.
are very difficult for
I think he's too
a
inconsistent to
quarterback
trust.
play. But the funny thing is, I kind of want to do a Guess Who game formation with you guys right here.
Ooh.
I want you to tell me there's a replacement for Cam. They're versing the Bears and the Jets next, okay? And then they go on to verse Atlanta. So they have 3 favorable matchups coming up. I'm going to read some statistics off for you. I want you guys to tell me who it is. So we have 398 passing yards for 2 touchdowns with an interception and a fumble for 25 fantasy points. Then we have 210 passing yards for 1 touchdown and 25 fantasy points. Then we have 206 for 2 touchdowns, 23 fantasy points. And then last week, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for 38 fantasy points. Anyone want to give me a guess on who I'm talking about?
I have a guess.
I
Strong guess who I think that is.
Let me
Craig.
get mine in, because if you already know, is it Kirk Cousins?
No,
It ain't?
wrong. It's Colin Kaepernick.
Wow, Slade hitting it right on the head.
Without a doubt,
See,
dude.
I couldn't give the rushing statistics for those games because that would have given it away too easily, but he has also rushed for over 23 yards in all of those games, including 113 last week.
Yes, Kaepernick has really started to come around.
As a fantasy quarterback, I think it's very notable to see that he's had 23 or more points in the last 4 games. Quarterback consistency has been a problem, especially for me this year, where I've either started the wrong guy or the guy that I've started has just completely shit the bed. And that's a big factor when it comes to playoffs and just games every week, because the quarterback can get you an easy 30 points if he just plays well. So I think that the quarterback position is really important. And I'm wondering if you guys think Kaepernick is a viable starter from here on out.
I think he is. I think he just scores enough touchdowns to get you the fantasy points. I was looking at Cam, and he's only scored 2 touchdowns or more in the air and rushing, combined 5 times this year. And he has multiple games where he hasn't scored a touchdown at all.
That's horrible.
And for Cap, the last 4 weeks in a row, he scored 2 touchdowns or more. So he's just way more consistent, actually gets it in the end zone. Even though I don't like that team or that record at all, at least it allows for some garbage time.
They run a lot
They're
of plays.
always behind.
Yeah.
Garbage time in fantasy is perfectly all right.
Yeah.
That would be hard, though. If you really had to pick one to hold you through the playoffs, oh my God. Cap. It had to be Cap. You just look at his games.
If you look
Last
at
4 games,
if you're
look
going
good.
by matchups and statistics,
Yeah.
you would have to say Kaepernick. But in your heart, you would want to say Cam Newton because you know that Cam Newton's the better player. But
That's
still,
one that could burn you for sure.
yeah, absolutely. But if you really look at it, Kaepernick hasn't gone below 19 in 6 weeks.
Since he's really been the starter.
That's still pretty
he's been
good. If you can get 19 or more points out of your quarterback, I mean, I'd say 19 is right at the peak of average.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get at least 19 from your quarterback, that's doing you some good in trying to outscore your opponent instead of getting, like you said, Cam Newton has had games without touchdowns, so that means he's going for 10, 12 points. Mm-hmm. That's terrible.
Especially for a former MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
I think the main reason why nobody gives Kaepernick any respect, after hearing those numbers, I had no clue, but the whole off-the-field issue, people couldn't get past that. I think it's time to finally give Kaepernick a chance. I would consider sitting Cam Newton for Kaepernick right now.
I mean, he plays the same style of game as Cam. He's just doing it better.
Yeah, and I mean, they're always down. At least Carolina's defense is actually kind of good. Without Navarro Bowman, the Niners' defense is 32nd in fantasy leagues in points, and that translates pretty well into the real NFL because if you're not getting turnovers and you're letting up points, not only do you lose fantasy points, you lose the game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not making it, but Cam Newton, there's just him and Russell Wilson. I just don't know if there's any going back this year for him.
What?
Maybe
Russell
a little
Wilson?
more Russell Wilson.
Definitely
but
Russell
even,
Wilson. Ooh, I didn't see
Look
his
at that
10 he
last
just got
game,
last
dog.
week.
Well, yeah, I mean, last week
And that
against
was
Tampa, that was the whole
Tampa's
team,
okay, but I mean, look at this. He's got
No
Carolina
touchdowns.
coming up, Green Bay's trash, LA's trash, Arizona, that's a good matchup, and
You're
San
crazy.
Fran.
No.
Now, LA always plays good games against division rivals, so that might actually
True.
be a little harder. But even Carolina, I think Carolina has the players still to stop Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's tough. That's 3 division games to end the year. That's
But I mean, the Niners is always a great division game to have.
LA's had Russell Wilson's number since he's been in the league, though.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a low-scoring game. Definitely don't play him that week.
All right, now sticking to the quarterbacks, I got another one for
What you got?
Another
Now, this one's a little more far-fetched because of the name, and once I say the name,
Wonderbox.
I already know what the answer is going to be.
Oh, God.
But Tom Brady.
No.
Now,
Or?
Immediately, no. No, I'm not asking or.
Oh.
Can we really expect Tom Brady going into the playoffs to be Tom Brady of last year?
Yes.
Now,
See.
now that we know that Gronk will miss a couple weeks, and not only that, their receiving core has been horrible this year. Edelman has really done nothing this year.
He's starting to come along.
Hogan is crazy. He's finally caught on, and Tom Brady seems to love Chris Hogan and the new kid, Malcolm Mitchell. But yeah, I mean, just look at the names. Do you really think Tom Brady can be Tom Brady going into the playoffs?
Nah, you know
It's
what?
not really a sitter stardom thing.
I don't think he can, dude. I don't think he's able to work with lower tools to make them better. There's no way.
He's never ever had to do that.
He's never
before.
done
He's never been able to make
ever.
other players around him
That's
better.
true.
So
He's never had a terrible receiving core group and led them to the Super Bowl.
He's never done
And
it.
he's
so.
never won the Super Bowl with that terrible receiving core.
Yeah, so why would I think he could do it this year?
So let's look at Tom Brady's games real quick for the season with his terrible receiving core. He's put up a 35, a 33, a 21, a 37, a 36, a 23, and a terrible 10. But even in that game, he threw for 316 yards. He just didn't get it in the end zone. So, that being said, Tom Brady's thrown for 280 yards or more out of the 7 games. Wait, is that how many he's played? Yeah, out of the 7 games he's played, he's thrown for 280 yards or more, and only one time thrown 222 yards. So that kind of consistency is pretty hard to find, not to mention the fact that he's gone over 30 in 4 of those 7 games. Looking at his playoff schedule, you have the LA Rams, who could cause him some problems up front.
For sure.
But then again, he could also tear them up.
Like Drew Brees.
Like
Right.
Drew
That's going to be a
Brees.
big game for LeGarrette.
So it depends, yeah. Deion Lewis is just coming back. He's had the last 3 games, I think he's had like 4 points, 7 points, 9 points or something like that. So they're starting to implement him more in the offense. They're going to have that dual threat of LeGarrette Blount and Deion Lewis. Tom Brady loves him some Deion Lewis, loves him some dump-off passes for touchdowns. He's going to get that. Factor in the fact that they still have Martellus Bennett, who's a 6'8" target in the red zone. And also, like you said, Chris Hogan's the new deep threat for them. He gets like 70 yards every now and then for the week. And Edelman is just starting to come along finally. He hadn't done much all season. I think he only had 1 touchdown until last week. So he just finally got his 2nd touchdown. Oh, no, he didn't have a touchdown last week. It was 2 weeks ago. He's only got 2 touchdowns on the season. But if you look at his last 4 games, he's scored 10.5 or more. So he's finally starting to get on that connection with Tom Brady. He's had 7 catches, 8 catches, and 8 catches. He's finally becoming that PPR machine that everyone drafted him for. I think going into the playoffs, you can definitely trust Tom Brady. It's Tom.
Now, it's like I said, it's not so much as a trust thing. It's more of a how dominant Tom Brady was last year. Tom Brady, there was really like 1 or 2 games where this man didn't score 35. The last 2 games, which has been without Gronk and then a hurt Gronk, a 22 and a 10. I'm just saying, I just don't know if Tom Brady is that guy that can carry you through the playoffs anymore. Like I said, last year, the main reason I even won was Tom Brady, putting up 30s every game. I'm not telling anybody to sit Tom Brady. I'm just saying, I just don't know if he's going to be Tom Brady of last year, especially without his biggest weapon in Gronk out of there.
Well, you said the last 2 games, but in the last 2 games, he's had a 36 and a 23 with an injured Gronk and a no Gronk. So
I thought you said 10.
No, that was 3 weeks ago. That was against Seattle.
Oh, so the 10 was with Gronk.
Yeah. So
It's all 30, and then, you know what? I don't think Tom Brady's going to put up 30 every week. That's all I'm saying.
he might not, but for the 7 weeks he's done it 4 of those 7 weeks, which is pretty absurd.
And I will say, every time I trash Tom Brady, he proves me wrong. So there you go,
I
guys.
don't know why you're trashing Tom Brady in the first place.
He's trash.
LOL.
I have a dream that Tom Brady is still on the bench every night, and then I wake up and realize Tom Brady's the starting quarterback. So
You think Drew Bledsoe's still starting?
I wish, dude.
Did you just say you dream about Tom Brady every night?
He did.
It's more of a nightmare every night.
Oh, that's not what you said.
It's a nightmare of Tom Brady being Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's a G.
Me, I wouldn't call him a G. But enough about Tom Brady. I don't even like talking about him. So
Yeah, do you guys know what quarterback is averaging the most points per fantasy game?
I would
As
say Drew
in
Brees.
who number one fantasy is?
Top three. See if you can give me top three.
Drew Brees.
Average per week.
Aaron
points.
Rodgers.
Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You got
No.
Drew Brees
It's
and Aaron
Drew
Rodgers
Brees
is
and Aaron
right.
Rodgers for
Matty
sure.
Ice.
That's 1 and 2.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't even look. I saw that you
I
had
thought
it
you were
open.
sneaking.
I wouldn't look at it. That's disrespectful. Well, the number one fantasy guy's got to be up there for average points.
Rodgers.
Honorable mentions: number 4, Mariota; 5, Cousins; 6, Dak Prescott.
I love Doc.
Just thought I'd throw that out
No,
there.
just kidding. He's
I'm
out.
It's
wrong.
pretty crazy that Mariota's
quarterbacks.
found his way up there.
I know, dude.
It's also insane that Drew Brees is, 38, 39, and he's the number one fantasy quarterback in the league?
He's like a guy during the draft that I
Completely disregarded.
consciously skipped over. Like, I don't want him,
Mm-hmm.
even though I could have. That's
No doubt.
crazy. Probably be the same thing next year too. I'll probably convince myself that this year was his last.
Yeah,
game.
exactly. And it might scorn you or it might be smart.
Yep. Well,
But yeah, like I said, we're not talking about Tom Brady. Thank God he wasn't in there. We're actually... I was feeling a little blue earlier, but you know what? I then realized that it's just the Browns and the Titans. Nobody starts any Browns besides Tyrell Pryor.
You're probably not playing in the
And-
playoffs.
Yeah, and DeMarco Murray's good, but you know what? I'm kind of happy right now. So we're going to skip bye week's blues, and we're going to focus more on playoff matchups this week. Who you should be starting, kind of like a start-em, sit-em. I'm going to give you guys 2 players. I'm going to give you their rankings, and you guys are going to tell me which of these 2 guys you would take.
Well, all right.
like who we're playing this week, or who,
If
we
you're,
want?
who you're playing this week.
Okay.
This week.
Word.
This week. And you don't even got to think. You know what? This is hypotheticals.
Okay.
I don't care how we do this.
I don't live in
I got it.
hypotheticals.
But all right, we're gonna start out with quarterbacks, and these all of these are guys that usually were drafted pretty high, and guys you could have got throughout the season or real late in drafts. Make it a little interesting. So the first one I got for you, this is actually a really good one. We got Big Ben, who was definitely one of the top 5 quarterbacks picked in fantasy drafts. The number 8 quarterback, Big Ben. Or would you start the hot young gun, number 7 in fantasy ESPN fantasy leagues, Derek Carr?
That is a tough one.
Again, like I
right
said,
now.
nobody expected Derek Carr to get to be this good, but he's been on fire, especially as of late as they've been winning these crazy
I
games.
think he only has 4 picks on the year.
Yeah, and Big Ben, I mean, Big Ben's Big Ben. He's been a little banged up this year, but who do you trust
As
more
per
going
usual.
going on into the playoffs? Big Ben or Derek Carr?
I gotta be honest with you. I think I'm not only going with Derek Carr, but him or maybe even Ezekiel Elliott, but maybe only getting back to Carr, could be the MVP of the NFL right now.
Very true.
I think with the Carr's weapons around him and the balance of the run game and what the Raiders are starting to do on defense, that Carr's in a great spot to put up points every week for you.
Mm-hmm.
He frequently gets short fields because of the defense. He also doesn't turn the ball over ever, so he'll never get you those negative points in fantasy. And I mean, the kid he comes through, it seems like every fourth quarter the kid throws a touchdown or 2. So,
True.
I don't know. Right now, with the way the Steelers' offensive line struggling a little bit and their defense being a little rocky, despite having Ant Brown as the best overall weapon between the 2 skill players for the Raiders and the Steelers, I'm still probably going Carr. I think he's really good.
Yeah, Derek Carr has been a monster this year. I mean, it's Big Ben, like I keep saying.
Big
gonna
Ben's
see
very
there's
consistent.
gonna be
Always
lot
a
of
great
names.
fantasy asset to have
Yeah.
on your team, Big Ben.
And he has one of the pretty much. I'm
A
going to
few
say
of the
number
best
1
weapons
receiver.
in football. He has Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown at his disposal.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to agree with you, Derek Carr, man.
think you're going Carr?
If I got these 2, I'm definitely starting Carr. You're talking about Big Ben's weapons, but go look at the Raiders' weapons, and Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper might be the best duo in the NFL and in fantasy leagues. Derek Carr has been the hot hand as of late. Like I said, Big Ben's been struggling with a little bit of injuries.
True.
Definitely missing Martavius Bryant this year. That was a big loss for them, especially since Sammy Coates cooled off so quickly.
Is it true the Giants are the second ranked defense against quarterbacks? Am I reading this right?
Currently, yeah.
That's absurd. I don't love that matchup, I guess, but look at this. The Steelers are at home this week, and check out Ben's home numbers in fantasy.
Oh, they're
absurd.
ridiculous.
25, 44, 37, and 34. Somehow they only have 4 home games, and he didn't play the one against New England. So every game at home, he's getting minimum 25, but going over 30 and 40 frequently.
Wow.
And they're at home again this week against the Giants. High-scoring game. I think for this particular week, I would go Ben, but I love me some Derek Carr. So for the season, for playoffs, yeah, I'd probably go Carr, because the next 2 games after that, Ben's on the road against Buffalo and against the Bengals. And then back at home against Baltimore, which is probably like a low-scoring division game. And then the last game against Cleveland at home, which he'll probably put numbers up. So I think you're really only going to use Ben this week and week 17. So for the rest of your playoffs, I think Carr's the way to go, because the point differential between those 2 guys shouldn't be much. But if you need a guy this week, Ben's going to go off for 30 at least at home against the Giants.
Well, I guess I'm going to be the oddball out then. I'm going Roethlisberger for Sharks.
I just picked Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I was about to
say. You did not just pick Roethlisberger. You said you're going Carr for the rest of the season.
For the rest of the season. We should have, yeah.
Well,
we
I
probably
guess.
should.
I'm picking both
originally.
people.
I did say rest of the
I'm
season.
picking both quarterbacks. That's what I'm
Oh
doing.
my God, I said
Why don't you make a decision,
I better,
dude?
yeah, I'm
Dude.
going to pick both too.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like both as well. If you're playing in a 2-quarterback league, start both.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
Yeah.
start Carr in
I've
my
done that
flex
before.
this
It's
week
very
when
cool.
you have Roethlisberger as my quarterback. I'm going with Roethlisberger, and
The burger.
it's a combination of both Roethlisberger, that offense, and Derek Carr's upcoming schedule. If you look at Derek Carr's playoff schedule, he's at Kansas City and he's at San Diego. Like Matt said earlier, San Diego's top 10 defense, so is Kansas City. Kansas City also held Derek Carr to 11 fantasy points, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble, and 1 interception. This time, and that was when he was at home. Kansas City is much more difficult to play on the road when you're at Kansas City. And I'm making it right now, so shut your mouth and let me finish.
No one heard what I said. You could have ignored that.
Can I finish?
Yeah, can I finish?
Can somebody finish?
So,
I will
the
not
only
stop
nice
that.
matchup for Carr from the playoffs to the end
Yeah.
is at home against Indianapolis. Other than that, he plays on the road at Kansas City, on the road at San Diego, and on the road at Denver. Who, by the way, last time he played at Denver, he had 7 points. So let's look at Kansas City and Denver. A combined 18 points for him in both those games.
Yeah, and San Diego D's been playing pretty good recently.
They've been playing great. So now we're going to flip on over to big old Ben Sloppysburger, who likes to get hurt all the time. But I like the way that the offense works, because even though Le'Veon gets a lot of runs,
Yeah.
you have to look at how the Raiders' offense works. Carr doesn't really dump off as much as Big Ben does. Big Ben throws the ball to Le'Veon Bell at least 8 times a game. So even when his wide receivers aren't open, he just has a little dump off, and they gain yards, and that gets the quarterback yards, so he's going to get more points. The rushing attack doesn't really take away from him. If you look at his playoffs, yeah, he has Buffalo and he has Cincinnati, but Buffalo has shown that they've been a little weaker in the past couple weeks than how they started out on that 4-game win stretch. And against Cincinnati, Roethlisberger put up 25 points with 3 touchdown passes. So I think it's very plausible for him to do more, if not better, against Cincinnati. Baltimore has a susceptible secondary. They're good against the run, but their secondary is not good. Again, I can see Le'Veon Bell ripping them apart in the receiving aspect. And then you finish it up with Cleveland. So it doesn't get much easier than that. So Big Ben.
2 Bens and 2 Derek Carrs. That's a very hard one. If you have both of those, you
One
are
Ben.
set, man. But we got one more quarterback one, and this is actually one that I actually had a problem with before I dropped him in like week 3. How about the number 9 quarterback, Andrew Luck, or the number 10 quarterback, Jameis Winston? And I bet you guys will never guess who I'm going to pick. Jameis Winston.
Really?
Crazy. Oh, boy, let me tell you. You guys probably know. I love me some Andrew Luck. But, man, Jameis Winston has been on fire. And, you know what? Jameis Winston hasn't been on fire. Mike Evans has been on fire. But Jameis Winston has been killing it. Like I said, 10th quarterback in the league. And listen to this, these upcoming matchups for the playoffs.
I'm listening.
At San Diego, that's a little hard. Then home versus New Orleans. At Dallas, who isn't that great.
Dominant defense.
At New Orleans, and then at home at Carolina. So you got 3 divisional games, but probably the two worst against the pass. So I would actually surprisingly go Jameis Winston for rest of the season.
I don't get it.
I'm surprised you would even go against Andrew Luck in the first place, but then to go against him for Jameis Winston.
Guys,
is even
Jameis
more
plays
surprising.
New Orleans twice
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Bro.
Yeah.
New Orleans
What
is
the deal?
Carolina, who don't got nobody.
But-
Unless you're doing week 17.
but-
That's when you gotta get that.
Look,
Dallas has
Jameis
been
does have-
susceptible to yards. They just don't really allow
Jameis
points.
is
But Jameis has a
favorable.
touchdown in every game but one, and that was a game versus Denver. I don't know. I kind of like Jameis. They've been very hot lately. Coming off a win versus Seattle, I think they have a chance to beat San Diego. They're two evenly matched teams, although San Diego's defense has been very good. So has Tampa's lately. And both have pretty high-flying offenses. So I don't know. With the Colts' struggles, I'd probably, especially with Andrew Luck coming off concussion, I don't know if it'll necessarily be the same for the next week or two. I'll probably go Jameis Winston as well.
Yeah, and like I said, I was talking about Jameis Winston's schedule, but Andrew Luck, not as easy. At the Jets, coming off that concussion might be a problem, and the Jets could be a trap game for Indianapolis, though they do suck against
No, I
the
think the
pass.
Jets are trash, and they're
Yeah,
bad against the pass.
they are.
They'll probably have a good game.
Then at home versus Houston, at Minnesota, and at Oakland. So those last three to finish off the playoffs, at least for our league, in week 17. If you play through week 17, you got Andrew Luck, you get Jacksonville at home. That's pretty good. But those are three tough matchups,
Not
right
really.
in the right when you need them the most. So, like I said,
I don't know, dude.
I like the
Jets.
matchups in that.
I like Andy Luck, dude. The Jets aren't that good. Then they play Houston in Indianapolis, and last time they played Houston in Houston, he still scored a 25 in fantasy. Minnesota, okay, I'll give you that. And then Oakland, they don't scare me too much.
No, they allow a lot of yards.
No.
That could be a high-scoring game too. I could see that being a shootout.
Yeah, easily.
And I just don't trust Jameis. He'll have a lot of games with multiple turnovers, which I don't like. And Andy Luck, surprisingly, doesn't throw that many picks this year, so...
I'd also like to point out that Jacksonville held Andrew Luck to his third lowest scoring game in fantasy football.
In London.
It doesn't matter.
London games don't matter.
Well, it does because you took the L. Anyways,
It still matters.
like I was
It especially
saying,
doesn't matter.
I'm kind of on board with Pace on this one because of Jameis Winston's inconsistencies. He has only been completing 52% of his passes this year, which is terrible. And he stares down Mike Evans every play. I don't know how it's still working, but he throws the ball to Mike Evans 14 times a game, and Mike Evans is just such a beast that he seems to get separation. But I don't see how you can go away from Andrew Luck. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league, whereas Winston is not. So I don't see how you could side with Winston on that, even though his schedule seems a little more favorable. The Colts are always coming back from behind or something. Their defense isn't that great, so they're always throwing the ball. So I think you go with Andy.
God, I love hearing that come out of a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah, I hate to go against Andrew Luck, but when it's coming down to those crucial playoff weeks, you gotta lean more towards those matchups. Wait.
Should we real quick just slide in our
Game
pick for
pick.
this one, just so it's official?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Got to pick the game.
nah, we'll be fine because it's not like anything crazy. Anything can happen within two quarters.
Before the
And
game
I want
starts,
to
I'm
kind of
picking
blow
Dallas.
through these because these are.
I'm
it's
also
like a new
picking
bye-
Dallas.
I'm
It's
also
like a new
picking
bye week
Dallas.
blue. All right, so we got one really
I hate
interesting one
Dallas.
with the running backs, and these are two guys that you could have picked up on the waiver wire very recently, actually, within the last couple weeks. How about the 35th ranked running back Robert Kelly and Tim Hightower, the 36th, both battle of the backups. Who you guys got in this one?
Interesting.
I got to pull up the schedules.
I'm thinking.
Good. I don't even need to look at schedules to know this.
You do.
I'm gonna be taking Tim Hightower.
Interesting.
Tim Hightower, we were talking a lot about him, got a lot of praise. I'm going to give him some more. The man just gets it done. He's very consistent with his runs, constantly getting you double digits in fantasy. And he's in a high-powered offense. He's going to get a chance to run the ball because New Orleans is either up or tied with everybody. So based on the fact that he's in the better offense. I'm going to give the nod to Tim Hightower this week. I don't care about no schedule for that one.
Actually, both their schedules are crazy.
I am gonna take an opposite approach to what you said, Ball, and I'm actually gonna go Fat Rob Kelly.
Fat Rob
That's
Kelly.
his nickname, believe it or not.
When you had asked us the question, you had said, "Which of these two backups would you take?" The answer is, I'm taking the starter, and that's Rob. That's Rob. He's definitely the primary ball handler for the Redskins now. His last 4 games, he's totaled 21, 22, 24, and 14 carries, scored 4 rushing touchdowns in those last 4 games, and he is above 87 yards in 3 out of those 4 games. Hightower's putting up a ton of points as well, probably about the same points put up as Kelly, but I think with Kelly seeing a little bit more opportunity and the Redskins moving the ball down the field as fast as they do, I mean, not that the New Orleans has a bad offense, but Mark Ingram sees a lot of playing time as well. I think with Kelly being the primary guy there, I'd definitely go with him, especially going forward.
Now, I should have explained myself a little better. When I said battle of the backups, I should have said battle of the guys who started as the backup at the beginning of the season.
Well, Robert Kelly is no longer just a bitch.
No, I just wanted to clear it up. I mean, Robert Kelly is kind of a stud. And again,
I go Fat Rob all day.
A lot of tough defenses in that NFC East matchup. So
He does versus Arizona and Philly the next 2 weeks on the road, but after that, if you were to get to the championship, he has soft matchups: Carolina, Chicago, and even New York's run defense towards the end. New York's is a little tougher, but
I wouldn't
Washington
say,
knows New York well.
Even though they lost Kuechly, I wouldn't call Carolina really a easier matchup.
True.
That's just me, though. I'm an old soul. I like
Hightower
my
also
teammates.
plays Arizona and Tampa Bay twice in those matchups. Tampa Bay's been stopping the run well recently, although Detroit and even at Atlanta are very appealing matchups.
Very true.
Yeah, this one's a little more difficult. I like Kelly a lot because he sees a high volume of carries, and they like to run the ball a lot in Washington to open up the field for Kirk Cousins. But the one thing that Robert Kelly doesn't have that Hightower has is the receiving aspect, where Hightower has had 34 or more receiving yards in the last 3 games, and Kelly's had 5 or 0 in the last 3 games. So potentially earning you extra points there in the receiving end, even though Hightower doesn't see as many carries, which kind of scares me in itself. He is performing well with the amount of carries that he gets, but I think I'm still going to have to go with Robert Kelly because he sees more volume. In general, more touches, more volume equals more opportunities. Mm-hmm. He's a big bruising back. He doesn't go down with the first tackle. He holds onto the ball well. No fumbling problems. So I think that I like him, especially for how well that offense has been moving frequently. They're going to get in the red zone more. It's more goal line opportunities for him to find the end zone. So Rob Kelly for Sharks.
Pace, who you feeling?
I'll just wrap it up real quick. I like Hightower most out of those two based on what Craig said about the receptions. I like that, especially in our league. Robert Kelly's a G. I mean, that 3 touchdown game against Green Bay definitely stands out. But I just feel like the Redskins are going to be more of a passing offense going into the end of the season. They're going to rely on Kirk Cousins a lot. And Hightower, yeah, he gets those catches. Just had a 50-yard catch this last week against the Rams. And, yeah, we've talked enough about both of those guys. But I lean Hightower on that one.
Mm-hmm. So, another tie.
A split there. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's going to be the only running back one we touch on. The other ones were kind of dumb.
Okay, G.
So we're going to move right along to receivers. I got 2 big names for you coming up.
Okay, G.
And we're going to start off with one of my favorites, DeAndre Hopkins.
Hop.
Oh,
All right. Now,
The answer is whoever else you
is
say.
it DeAndre?
There's no way
I
this is gonna
know.
be competitive at all.
Because I also just kind of was a little biased. I just wanted to hear you guys say his name. How about Dante Moncrief?
Do you guys want to hear something funny? Do you guys want to hear something funny I just noticed? Bass has put 2 Colts on this list. Moncrief and Andrew Luck.
Look, I have Frank Gore on here, and we didn't even do Frank Gore.
How do we let
Oh,
this
great.
happen?
So there's 3 Colts on the list. I'm
There
so
were.
glad
Hold
that
on.
we let this happen.
Oh, I didn't put Jack Doyle on there?
Shut the hell up, dude.
I mean, you guys looked at
I
it.
got a serious one
Let's
I need
hear
help
it.
with if
Uh,
you guys are interested.
Yeah?
But
I'm
it's,
admitting.
I don't want to talk more about the Saints. I'm tired of talking about them this week.
The same.
Here, real quick, everyone just give a one-word answer who you would pick.
No.
Ready? Mike Thomas against Detroit or Marvin Jones against the Saints?
Mike Thomas.
Oh, they're playing each other.
Mike
Retarded.
Thomas.
Who are you picking? Mike Thomas?
Yes.
Marvin Jones is trash now, dude. But against the Saints, maybe he'll go off.
Trash bag.
Saints actually,
I
their
see
defense has
Tate
not
as the
looked
guy who
horrible.
I think is going to go off for the Lions in that game. Maybe even Ebron, because they don't really have a backer that can keep up with him.
Yeah. You're probably right. I would never start Marvin Jones again. He's done.
Marvin,
But I can see him having a good game. Beware.
Alright,
Do you have
Beware
another
of
one,
what,
guys?
his 7?
Beware of getting burned with a 20 spot on the bench.
Ugh.
I like that one. And I got a little better one for you guys since
Okay.
I disappointed.
I'll go Moncrief for that matchup, though.
I would also go Moncrief.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear everybody
I'm not
say
answering
Moncrief. All right, so
Thanks, Joe Hopkins.
here's the real one. How about the 25th ranked receiver? This is the big name, and this is why it scares a lot of people to sit this man. Allen Robinson, or the 31st and the hot hand, Tyreek Hill.
Ooh.
That's actually a really good one. A guy who was a top 5 receiver this year, and a guy who's been a top 5 receiver for like the last couple weeks.
That's really hard. I've been keeping my eye on Tyreek Hill for a few weeks now, ever since I shouted him out for my Hail Mary pick, I think 3 episodes ago.
How the hell did he get a
So
27
I'll take credit
last
for
week?
him popping off.
Oh yeah, it's
How
just
the
because
hell
of
did he
you.
do?
But that's a really
Rushing
hard one because
receiver
Allen Robinson I
return.
don't trust at all. He's super inconsistent this year. And Tyreek Hill has only had 1 good game, so I can't trust him either, really. So,
Now 3 good games.
3 good games for Tyreek? I mean,
Tyreek has 5 touchdowns scored on the
I'll
year
say
receiver.
5
He also has a
games.
rushing and a kick return, so
He had
give him
5.
7 total.
He had
Okay,
5 good
okay.
games this year, dude.
okay. I guess
You
I'm
don't-
not fully caught up on him, but
You don't become the 31st ranked receiver by having 1 good game.
Yeah, you do.
Out of 11. Come on.
He has
man.
5 good games this year, and that right there is better than Allen's total. So I don't know who I'm going with. That's a toss-up for me. Upside, I'd still give it to Robinson. He'd probably see more targets, especially downfield. But with the scoring, Robinson has a decent amount of touchdowns as well. He has 6 touchdowns scored on the year.
I don't
Which
think I'm
isn't-
starting Robinson for the next 3 weeks.
Why? Because of the
He's-
matchups?
Yeah, he's got Denver, Vikings, and Texans back to back to back.
Definitely don't start.
I
him
think
against
Denver's a
the
tough matchup for him
Denver.
this week for
Yeah,
sure. But I
yeah.
think Minnesota, if he gets moved around away from Rhodes, and Houston, I think he's going to eat.
I don't think he'll
He
be.
could have
I
a game
think
against
Rhodes
Houston.
will shadow him.
Rhodes will probably be on. He's definitely the Jags' number 1 option. I think Rhodes will be on him most of the game.
I don't like that.
That's back-to-back tough matchups, man. That's hard. But yeah,
His,
Tyreek Hill, I don't know.
The previous game versus Houston, because they did play twice on the count of the division, he had 9 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown. His only 100-yard game of the year. So I think against Houston is
Against
an okay
Houston?
matchup for him. But
Okay.
yeah, you're right. The other 2 matchups present problems, and those will be your first 2 weeks of the playoffs.
And dude, that Houston game in Week 15, that's in Houston, and Houston's leading the division. They're going to be playing crazy hard trying to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, but Brock Osweiler's still Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, I'm not talking about who's winning the game.
Kansas
I'm talking
City-
about that defense shutting down Allen Robinson.
Kansas City upcoming is at Atlanta, Oakland, Tennessee, and then they finish with Denver, which would be your last game of the playoffs. So until the last game against Denver, I think Tyreek Hill has a better schedule. I might even go him based on how he's been lately. He's kind of become their number 1 with Jeremy Maclin out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably leaning Hill.
I hate
Even
the
when
Chiefs'
he-
passing game, though. It's like so corny. And you
Dink
can't
and
rely on
dunk.
him getting punt returns and kick return touchdowns either.
No, but he does get carries, which is a nice add.
Yeah.
He gets 1 a game.
He's what Ty
Well,
Montgomery was supposed
last
to do.
game he used that
What
one to
was
get in the
supposed
end
to be.
zone, so I love it, baby.
3 yards.
All right,
you're
well, Pace,
right.
are you going with Allen Robinson then, I assume?
No, I already said no because of those matchups. I don't like it. But I wouldn't honestly feel comfortable with either of these. Although Tyreek, he's had some games.
Yeah, I go Tyreek Hill too. I mean,
Allen Robinson
I
just
think
said
Tyreek
he's
Hill's the
just-
safer play, although Allen Robinson every week will give you the higher upside than Tyreek Hill.
That's probably a perfect way to put it. Yeah.
see, I think Allen Robinson was a fluke, and it didn't actually matter. He wasn't good last year.
He's a
check
big bust
yourself
this year.
before you wreck yourself, boy.
That's
He's
the
super
dumbest statement
talented.
you said this podcast.
He's a Jacksonville Jaguar.
And you said a
Are
lot of
any
dumb
of them really
things. There's another dumb thing.
good? Yeah. All right, that does it, Craig. Did you say who you're gonna start?
I'd start Allen Robinson all day, every day.
Hmm.
Especially with Allen Hearns out.
Ooh.
Interesting. I like it. It's just, yeah, like you said, with Macklin out, Tyreek Hill is really the only option they have besides Kelsey, and though the passing offense isn't the flashiest, they're giving they're giving Tyreek Hill the ball, and that's all that matters. As long as you get touches and you can score 3 touchdowns, I'll start you every single week, kid. But all right, we're gonna move on to a tight end one, and I don't have them or anything, but I got one for you. How about Cameron Brate playing San Diego this week, or Antonio Gates playing Tampa Bay this week? The discrepancy in the numbers is why I'm not talking about it. Cameron Brate's the number 9 tight end right now.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates, who has missed a couple games, and that's why he's so low, and put up a fat 0 last week, is the 19th ranked. But like I said, I don't have any of them. So who would you guys start?
Oh, I thought you had both of them.
No. I don't have none of them. I don't care about this
used
one.
to.
That's why I'm
I
not
swear I
saying
hear
it.
you talk about Cameron Brate.
starting-
He's being sarcastic. He has both of them.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I knew it.
I have none of them.
To solve Baz's fantasy lineup question, I
solve
would
my
go with
friend's lineup.
Antonio Gates.
My friend will be happy to hear Gates because he already has him in his starting lineup.
San Diego has one of the better defenses in the league currently. While Tampa Bay is improving, but they aren't where San Diego is. And I just think with the way the Chargers have moved the ball down the field the last couple weeks, Gates being involved in the red zone still, getting targets at least, I would go with him. I think Cameron Brate, unless he scores a touchdown, he's been pretty irrelevant after his hot start.
Yeah, last week,
We were talking about Mike Evans seeing all the looks earlier, so yeah, I'm probably going with Antonio Gates. I might sit Cameron Brate this week with a tough matchup against San Diego.
yeah, even with Gates putting up a 0, Cameron Brate really didn't help himself. He only put up a 2.5 against KC last week. Like I said, I'm not going to front anymore. I got both of them. Gates is in my starting lineup. Cameron Brate, it's very interesting, but yeah, San Diego has been really good on defense this year, and I'm going to lean more towards the Hall of Famer having a better game than the guy who just came up this year.
You have to go with the Hall of Famer.
Did Gates not play against Houston last
No,
week?
he did.
Oh,
he
he
just
did?
ate dirt.
He
He's
played
done
the whole
nothing?
game. Pretty sure.
He was on a roll before that. He had a touchdown in the last 3 games up until that Houston game. I don't know what happened there. Did Hunter Henry go off or something?
No, he had a TD, but he had 2 catches.
Yeah. Nah, Antonio Gates is an accident murderer.
Yeah, I think with the Chargers at home, you'll see Gates have a nice game.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio, the
His-
ex-basketball stud, a.k.a. Antonio!
A.K.A. Bobby.
He's a must start. I mean, he's had 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games, so I think you definitely have to go with Antonio.
True.
He's actually had 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
No,
Make your stats sound a little better.
that's actually not true.
What?
He didn't have anything last week, so
Well, it was a bye. So
check your
Yeah, he didn't-
It doesn't
no.
count as a game.
He can't touch the ball. It does
Antonio
count as a game.
Gates.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this dude here.
No, I'm talking about Antonio Gates because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's somebody else. But
My bad. I was too busy wonder barring over here.
But that's gonna about do it for the player matchups this week. We'll touch more because the official start to the playoffs is next week. We'll probably touch a little more on them. And with that said, anybody listening, if you want to send in your own lineup questions, tweet at us like Pace said earlier. 4th and Goal Cast. I'll personally answer them myself, or we'll answer them live. It'd be pretty cool to hear.
That would be cool to hear. Send those questions in, definitely.
But all right, like I said, that wraps it up for player matchups. So I feel like we're gonna toss it up real quick, and then we're gonna go into our game picks. And when I say toss it up, I'm dropping back Aaron Rodgers throwing up them Hail Marys.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Come with me. And looks like I'll start us off. I just gotta find my guy.
Zeke, no.
He gone. I know who it is. I just want to make sure I'm saying everything right. But I'll start off with it. This week, I am picking the guy who apparently has done nothing in fantasy. Anybody else got one on hand while I look for mine?
I got one.
All right, Pace, start us off.
Who's
Who's your Hail
Dynaway?
Mary?
My Hail Mary is Vance McDonald.
Wow.
Tight end for the 49ers. I think you can pick this guy up if you're in a jam and need a tight end. He's been on a roll. His last 4 games, 84 yards, 50 yards, 46 yards, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns in those 2 games. with at least 3 catches in all those games too. And that's against some good defenses: Arizona, New England, Miami, and this week he's got Chicago. So I think you're going to see him. You're going to see McDonald go above double digits this week. Probably get another 4 catches.
Is he pulling down a tug?
He's getting a tug. Yeah, he's on pace. He goes every other with his touchdowns. So he's due for a touchdown. He's due for about a 50 or 60 yard game, and I'm guessing 4 catches. He's not a bad start at all, especially considering the matchup. This dude's owned in 16% of leagues. Again, that's Vance McDonald. I know, I haven't heard of him until earlier today either.
SMH.
Have you guys? No.
Shaw.
Yeah, he's about one of the only playmakers in that receiving.
And he had all those numbers you just talked about.
So you guys are eyeing him up. I haven't really needed a tight end. I've been riding with my boy Lance, not Vance. But
You better switch that up real
I
quick.
actually might.
Switch that L for a V at least. That's half a W.
So shout out for my game ball next week, Vance McDonald.
I like that.
Thank you. Who you guys got? I know. Don't. You can't.
I think I'm going next.
Okay, what you got?
My Hail Mary, going deep to a rookie. Wide receiver, playing 4.
Yeah.
Touchdown Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. This is Malcolm Mitchell. This kid's really caught fire lately. For Tom Brady, he has some weapons. Been going down. Chris Hogan struggling with an injury. Jules has been questionable and out of the lineup. And Rob Gronkowski out for the year. This kid's last 2 games in fantasy in the half PPR league, he's a 17 and an 18.5 respectively. He's caught 3 touchdowns, including this week where he had 7 targets. He caught 5 balls for 45 yards and 2 touchdown scores. I just think this kid has a lot of potential. He's on one of the very best offenses in the NFL in a prime position. He's going to see his fair share of targets with all these other guys out. And Tom Brady and him seem to have a nice rapport going. They've really built some trust with each other. And I just think into the playoffs, if you're desperate in one of those bigger leagues, even in a small league, if you're looking for a touchdown in your flex, Malcolm Mitchell might be your guy.
Yeah, he's got the speed for sharps.
Exactly.
And
little
apparently
size,
Brady
too.
says he has Gronk-like hands. Whatever that means.
I don't know about all that, but I love when Tom Brady compliments his receivers.
I mean, Gronk has some great hands, so that's
Yeah, I
big
mean, if
words
that's the
coming from
comparison.
Tom.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up with a guy who was on IR for majority of the season and just came back 2 weeks ago.
Who dat?
There's
Yeah.
no way he was...
Ezekiel Elliott did not fumble.
Yeah, he
America.
did, dude.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he did.
Overturned.
I
Does
wish
he have a
There's
fumble
no
yet
way.
on the year?
No.
So that would have.
he does.
Could have been
I
his
think
first?
like his first or second week he fumbled.
Really?
All right, well, he might.
There's
I'm pretty
literally
sure he
no
had-
way they could call that back.
I'm checking right now.
He has a couple
They overturned
fumbles,
it.
if I'm
What's his
not
face?
mistaken.
Barr hit the ball while Zeke was still running, and he lost the ball while running.
Well, they're saying that did not happen.
That is the
Yeah.
fakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow, that's absurd. And yeah, Zeke has 0 fumbles all year.
Is Jason Witten not playing tonight, or am I drunk?
Hit him. Let's go.
That is the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Yo, can Minnesota?
Off the field anyway.
I'm aggravated.
All right, so continue off of IR, Craig.
The refs literally suck.
Yeah, Jason Witten was wide
None of
open
them
right here.
are
Beat
all
this.
So a guy who's on IR all season long just got back 2 weeks ago. First week back, he only had 1 catch for 35 yards. But last week, he had 8 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. It is Marquise Wilson of the Chicago Bears.
Marquise
And he's
Wilson?
owned in 8.8% of leagues.
I forgot to tell you, Malcolm Mitchell is available in 89% of leagues. He's only 11% owned. I forgot to add that. Sorry about that, guys.
And where?
I also would like to point out Wilson's upcoming schedule, which is against San Francisco, Detroit, and Green Bay, which are all very favorable secondaries to verse. And
They are, but his most unfavorable matchup is his quarterback, Matt Barkley.
Yeah, but I don't think Barkley's going to be the quarterback the whole year.
Jay Cutler's out for the year.
Nah. They just said it's week by week now.
Even so, he is trash bags.
He may be trash bags, but Marquise Wilson is fast and had 8 catches for 125 yards in a TD against Tennessee, who is actually a formidable defense.
They are. Do you think they'd take Nelson Aguilar straight up?
What?
Do you think they would take Nelson Aguilar straight up?
Not a
Marquise
chance, and
Wilson?
the reason I don't think they would is because I don't think Nelson Aguilar has enough catches on his career for that trade. So, that being said, Marquise Wilson could be a sneaky upside play this week. As always with Hail Mary, boom or bust.
Yeah. And So, I'm actually
Yeah.
going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Greg, I know you were trying to wrap it up, but you got to let me talk. And
Make sure somebody wraps it up.
my Hail Mary,
It's not bad to double wrap, is it?
double wrap. Is it as much fun if you double wrap it?
No.
But my Hail Mary, let me tell you, my Hail Mary, it's a Falcon. No, mine's actually a Jet. Actually, my Hail Mary is Super
Oh my
No!
gosh, are you
Super
joking me,
No! Yeah, I'm just kidding. But my actual Hail Mary is going to be this week Seth Roberts of the Oakland Raiders.
dude? You literally told me that Ted Ginn was already picked by somebody one time, so I didn't pick him, and then you picked a guy
I
that
didn't tell you
already
not to
picked-
pick him.
Oh my lord.
So I didn't say anything. I was looking for a guy. I couldn't really find any stud, so I might recycle this pick, but it's going to pay off, hopefully. But the main reason I'm picking Seth Roberts, not only is he owned in 1.5% of leagues, so this is a guy you can go get, but
I hate ball.
on the low, he has 5 touchdowns this year. Playing with Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. And the best thing about him having 5 touchdowns, which is a lot for that third receiver spot, he's very touchdown dependent. This is a guy who might not get the catches with the guys in front of him, but the last 4 weeks he has scored 2 touchdowns. Like I said, 5 on the season. And the best part about all that is he's playing Buffalo, who not only sucks against the pass, but they're not going to be worried about a guy like Seth Roberts with Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree on the field. I could see Roberts going for a big game against Buffalo, especially at home in Oakland, and that's why I'm going to recycle that pick.
Okay.
So that's all Hail Marys, guys. If you need, please feel free to take any of those players. We give out great fantasy advice here. But so we're gonna wrap up the podcast with the game picks. And do we have the paper? Let them update them a little bit on the record. Where did Craig put that?
Sure do.
All right,
Paper's
so
right over here.
what's the records looking like
Our
this
records. Our records are tight. They're hot. Our records from
Our
the
records
season,
are.
We are all literally close.
Stand by for the records.
right over here. All right. So updated records on the season after last week
Yeah.
are
Mm-hmm.
right in my back pocket.
I've been patiently waiting for them to do all they hate and debating whether
Let
or
me
not.
find it for you.
Craig, can you just show them because
Okay. So our final records
Yeah.
are.
not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our current records.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Bass are sitting at 29 and 23.
Awesome.
Craig is at 30 and 22.
Hello.
And Pace has made his way up to the top dog at 31 and 21. How intriguing.
Get your dirty nose off the mic.
You smell that?
I hope Pace enjoyed his reign at the top because
Yeah,
he's
for one
probably going
week.
to pick every game wrong this week unless he agrees with us on one. So,
I went 10-3 last week, just so the listeners
how
are
about
aware.
this? Should we hop right into the picks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we might be.
We're
What-
gonna start off with this game that's playing right now.
Hold on,
We
who's got the
uh,
pen? Let's get this official. I gotta ink it. Who has the pen?
It's the pen.
I just had it. Now it's gone.
I think
We're sitting on
it's
it.
on.
We're sitting on
All
it.
right. Enough of looking for
All right.
pens. We're gonna start off with the Thursday night game that's going on right now. Minnesota at home against Dallas. I'm gonna go with Dallas. I think they go and get that 11th straight win this week, or 12th. I don't know what they're at. I don't care.
They've
about
won 10 in a
Dallas.
row.
So 11 straight of the week. 11 straight win this week.
Anyone else agree with that?
I'm also going to go Cowboys.
Pace.
Cowboys for sure.
Great.
I'm picking them every
Dallas,
week until they
Minnesota.
lose.
That makes it intriguing to go against the squad.
If you're trying to come back in the standings, definitely. Craig, this pen sucks.
It doesn't suck. You just suck at writing.
I highly doubt.
I agree. I was writing pretty well with that.
Yeah, I
Craig,
was
who
gonna
you
say I
going
was
with?
writing pretty well with it too. I'm gonna have to go with Dallas.
Dallas gets the sweep for that game. Next game we got going on is Atlanta at home versus Kansas City. I'm gonna go with KC this week on the road. I think that defense prevails. Not gonna shut down that top offense in the league, but I think slow them down enough that they can take the W.
Who is it? Atlanta and who?
Atlanta at home versus
Kansas
City. Yes.
I'm going with Atlanta.
Hold on now.
No.
So Craig, you picked Atlanta.
Use abbreviations. It makes it go faster.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Bass, what'd you pick? KC.
I picked KC away. Yeah, on the road.
I didn't ask where they were playing. I asked who you picked.
I don't care what you asked. So they do you for
I got broads down there. I can't go against Atlanta.
ATL.
Who's at home? I'm sorry.
Atlanta, yes.
This is Atlanta all day, baby.
Alrighty.
What's next?
Next game on the queue, it's Baltimore at home versus Miami.
Miami?
And I'm going with the home team this time. I'm going to say Baltimore pulls it off.
Okay. I'm not going against the win streak. I'll pick Miami.
Jeff Goff, win streak isn't real.
What? I thought you said it was Baltimore and Miami.
They played Jeff Goff.
What does Jeff Goff have to do with it?
They played him. It's not a real win streak if you beat Jeff Goff.
They've won
You
like
ain't
5
the
or
Rams,
6
don't come
games
back
in a
to
row
LA.
now.
Oh my god.
All right.
It was a rainy day. It doesn't
Okay,
count.
so Baltimore at home versus Miami.
I think I'm also going Miami in the game.
Miami.
And an ugly one on the road.
Craig, finish us off. Who you finning?
Baltimore. Justin Tucker.
Oh, come on.
That's,
You know I love being the lone wolf.
It's going to come down to Justin Tucker.
You know I love Miami.
All right, here's a all-out barn burner must-watch game at 1 o'clock.
Okay,
Chicago at home versus San Francisco. Whew, Colin Kaepernick versus Matt Barkley. I'm gonna go with San Fran on the road.
Wow, San Fran gets their second win.
Yeah, everybody's got to win unless you're the Cleveland Browns.
Is it in San Fran or Chicago?
It's in Chicago.
What time is the game?
1 o'clock. It's like 9 o'clock in San Fran.
I hate to say it though. I think
O'clock.
Chip's getting his second win of the year.
Yep, so San Fran for Slade.
Go ahead, Pace.
Hiding Capper too much.
I'm picking the Bears this week.
Dub Bears?
Da Bears. Chicago.
Craig, who you find?
I think the Bears have suffered a lot of injuries.
Out without Danny Trevathan this week.
It's
And
also troublesome.
Jarrell Freeman
I'm gonna have to go ahead and go San Fran. Leave Pace alone on that one.
in a 45 to
Fall.
42 shootout.
All right, next game we got up is Cincinnati at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you know me, you know one thing about me. I never bet against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't know about that.
Go Birds in this one.
Let's go, Birds.
You guys are both birds.
Easy.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a
I don't
nice
even
bounce
like
back win
Philly
here.
that much, but I'll take them.
Without AJ Green and Bernard.
Put me for Philly too.
Without
Cincinnati's
AJ
look
Green.
terrible.
Cincinnati's reeling.
They have looked terrible.
I think the defense steps it back up against that struggling O-line too.
I'm going Cincinnati though, because the Birds only win at home.
Pace is quickly gonna fall back down
How
the
dare you.
rankings.
No,
We
2
were
games in a
one.
row.
Pace is either
Stepping
yes
up on
going
you
to
guys.
go way under or absolutely murder.
It's definitely gonna go way under.
It's gonna pull way far ahead, or
He's trying to
way
be
far
ballsy,
behind?
but it's too ballsy.
D.
All right, we got Green Bay coming off a hot Monday night win at home versus Houston.
There's no way I cannot pick Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm also going Packers as well in this game.
Yeah, they want to get to the playoffs. I'm going
Osweiler's
Green Bay.
still playing for Houston, right?
Yeah, he is. He's starting.
Who cares?
Bass, what'd you say?
He's down.
I'm going with Green Bay.
That's a sweep.
I love
Sweet.
sweeps.
All right, Jacksonville at home versus Denver.
Hi.
Can Jacksonville do it? I would say no. Denver.
Well, we've lost 6 in a row, so
Can you pick them again, Craig? That's the
I
question.
don't know, dude. It keeps shafting me every week.
I'm definitely going Denver on this one.
Craig, tell me you're going. Wait.
You picked Jacksonville, right?
No, I didn't. Why would I ever pick Jacksonville?
I don't know.
He just rode in the Jags for ball.
I swear to God, bro, I will never pick Jacksonville. Let me write down Denver
No.
so you don't fuck it up.
Oh, you picking them officially? Or?
Yeah, Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Who
somebody
won
else
last week,
pick it.
Kansas City or Denver?
Kansas City.
in a terrible game.
I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game, but without Hearns, one of their main weapons, and Robinson probably seeing a double team, I'm probably going to go Denver as well.
Okay. And that leaves us with Craig. Who did you pick, Craig? You didn't pick yet.
I'm going with the number 7 ranked defense in the league, though. At home, Jacksonville.
Hopefully I'm not eating that laugh next
I hope
week.
you eat it, dude, so far down
Hopefully
your throat.
not. Alright, then this is going to be a rough one, too. Tom Brady at home versus Jeff Goff. That's the
Tom Brady
Patriots are
at
at home versus the
Patriots
Rams.
at home versus
You can
the
say
Rams.
Tom Brady at home, and that's where anything that you could say after that ends. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I'm going Tom Brady as well.
I'm going Tom
Patriots
Huckin, dude.
all day.
I'm also going to probably go with New England. Even without Gronk, they're hot right now. They're
That's
set.
going to be an LA victory, boys.
Wow.
One on it. 10-7.
I'm not watching the
I'll
game.
tell you one thing.
Or-
I'll tell you one thing. I will never stand on the LA Rams sideline as long as Coach Fisher is still there.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, apparently not.
You're not invited,
Alright. New Orleans at home in the Superdome versus Detroit. Two teams that love to come back. Who's going to finally come back and win this one? I think it's going to be New Orleans.
So I'm going with that hot offense of New Orleans as well. Detroit's barely
defense
pulling
is-
wins out of their asshole.
Detroit's
I'm going
defense
New
is
They'll
terrible.
win, man.
though. I'm going Detroit.
But
on
Matt
this.
Prater is a G.
You're
Raiders
going
Yeah.
with the
stunning.
Detroit based on the kicker?
Yeah, dog. It's been coming down to the kicker every time.
What
they
about
win.
Will Lutz?
Will Lutz has had like 5 kicks blocked this year.
That ain't his
Terrible.
fault.
Not on this date.
I don't know, man.
do?
Is Ansa back?
Ezekiel?
Yeah.
Hell if I know. Detroit sucks.
Detroit's
Shit.
making that
I mean,
push
Detroit's
for first place.
6-4, 7-4 now.
I think they're 7-5.
7 Nah.
Yeah,
Oh, according to the paper
Definitely
you
only
already
4
picked.
losses.
maybe.
What?
According to the paper you already picked Detroit.
Bitch. Yo, Pace doesn't wait for anything.
I know, he's crazy.
Hey, you can pick whatever you like.
You damn right I couldn't, Chad.
Who you picking, Chow?
I can scratch it out if it makes you a little less stressed about it. I'm scratching it out. I want you to have a clean, pure pick. No
I
subconscious.
just want to pick.
It's a lot of contemplation that's going on here.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. The
After
Saints are gonna
New
put points up for sure.
I'm going to go Brew Breeze.
Smart.
Saints.
How can you go against the number 1 rated quarterback in fantasy football?
When that league. Greg Jennings.
Alright, let's get back on track. Oakland at home versus Buffalo. Oakland's actually pretty sick this year. I'm going to go with them.
Buffalo fighting for its fantasy, or for its playoff life. They're on the road, Buff?
Yeah, Buffalo on the road.
Hmm.
They got to go to the black hole.
Sammy Watcock back.
Yep. He
LaShawn
actually played pretty well.
LaShawn
3 catches for 80
McCoy.
yards.
Nah, I'm going Raiders.
Ragus.
Greg is going Oakland.
I'm going Raiders. I gotta go.
I got to go. Go Raiders.
That's a sweep.
Oakland all day.
Oakland.
Arizona at home versus Washington. You asked me last year, I would have picked the Cardinals. This year, I think I'm going to go with Washington.
Arizona's at home?
Yeah.
I'm going Arizona.
I'm gonna go Washington.
God darn it.
Yes. Greg.
Craig.
Hey, old Greg.
This is gonna be Craig.
How about you show me your pick, Craig?
Oh, I hate Carson Palmer after this year.
So you already picked Washington. You said it right there.
Just say it.
You hate that piece of dirt.
He's a piece of dirt, but David Johnson isn't a piece of dirt.
David Johnson is your little sister's favorite running back.
Oh my heavens!
I think,
See, you
I
can.
think my little sister's favorite running back is definitely not David Johnson.
It better not be that fat boy
Probably
Frankie
Frankie
G.
G.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
God.
He should be everybody's favorite.
He couldn't find the end zone.
Alright,
I gotta go Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. Tied it
Split.
up.
I like that, Craig.
I got to.
All
I gotta
right.
figure that Bruce Arians is gonna put something together.
We got
I like the clutch.
Pittsburgh at home versus them New York Giants. I'm going Pittsburgh. At home, like we were saying earlier, they're a whole different offense, whole different team.
You're going Pitt?
Yep.
I'm also going... man, I don't know. Giants are on a streak, too.
Yeah, but they suck at running the football.
Yeah, I'm going Pitt. What do you guys think?
Pitt. Now, Slade's.
Say it.
Should I go against the group or not?
Should I take my L now or later?
I'm headed to the Berg too. Let's go with the Stella.
That's a
straight
third
sweep.
sweep. How many more games?
3 more games.
Holy.
And the next one is San Diego at home versus Tampa Bay. Oh, I think they carry the momentum over from that Seattle game. I'm going Tampa Bay.
I'm going Diego.
Games in San Diego.
Is
I'm also going with San Diego.
Let me go against the group.
Yeah, I'm picking San Diego.
Chit.
Don't give ball and out.
All right, Sunday night. Looked like a good game last year. I don't know about this year. Seattle at home versus Carolina. I gotta pick one of these teams. Man, I'll go Seattle.
Hold on, Bill. We getting organized over here.
It's not that hard to write down.
I know, but
Strong
you always
names.
bring the smallest piece of paper of all time to write on, so...
I didn't actually bring this piece of paper this
Gotta
time.
make something happen. I'm gonna add some
Dak
slots
Prescott
over
with his
here.
second peak
Of the day?
of the year.
What
Oh my gosh, what is happening? What's the
Minnesota's
game again?
getting
Tell me the game. I'm sorry.
Seattle at home versus Carolina. I took Seattle.
Oh, never mind. Fumblerooski.
And you took Seattle?
Yeah.
Seattle versus Carolina. I'm also going Seattle. They are on a freaking roll.
Except for last week.
Seattle
Yeah.
versus
I'm also going
Carolina.
Seattle.
Craig's gonna
Where's the game? Where's the game?
In
Seattle.
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 Damn.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Oh, you didn't.
I can check him.
All right.
Pick already?
Next game.
Okay. All right. And final game Monday night.
This is the final game?
Yeah.
Okay.
New York Jets at home versus my boys,
Colts.
the Indianapolis Colts. I think. Well, Andrew Luck's been practicing all week. I'm gonna say he's still in the protocol. He's gonna come out.
This
I'm
isn't
going
fair.
Colts
If Andrew
away.
Luck plays, I want the Colts. If not, I don't.
You know what? Either way, I'm taking Scott Tolzien, Andrew Luck. I'm going Indy this week.
All right.
I want to be able to change my pick if Andrew Luck isn't playing.
Nah,
Not allowed.
doesn't matter.
That's
He
horse.
should pass protocol.
That's horse dick.
Sorry.
I'm going Indy.
I love
Frankie
it.
G, 2 tugs. I feel it.
I'm also going Indy. Will Craig go against the group? Or will he sweep them
There's
away?
no way I would ever pick Ryan Fitzpatrick to win anything.
So,
What about a pick that I got?
here's it gonna be.
Ooh, right. He could win that.
Indy?
Nah, you get
Yeah.
beat by Brock Osweiler.
Alright,
Man.
boys.
And with that, Indianapolis sweeps and is now doomed to lose because everybody picked them.
Where are the old records?
Hopefully they lose.
Well, all right. That's about going to do it for our show.
Let me see.
Um,
Come on. I'm gonna write
You
the old
don't-
records on here.
what do you need the records for?
So that next week you don't need to worry about it.
Like we said, follow us on Twitter. You can now find our podcast for basically free on
Basically.
iTunes. It's actually free, but it's also basically free. So go check it out there. Why not listen to us every single day of your life? We're also still on Stitcher. Go download that app. We're on SoundCloud. Every week we upload the new episode along with YouTube.
And iTunes. Ho, ho.
Yeah, iTunes. Basically free, like I said. So with that said, guys,
Stop
all I gotta
confusing
go.
people. It's definitely free.
It's free. I explained that, but it's also basically free.
I'm gonna smack you.
It's basically free because you gotta go drop us a 5 stars on that on each one. So it's gonna take up a little of your time. It's not that free, but like I said, we're done for this week. We will see you guys next week. Don't worry. Never gonna do that 2 weeks off again unless at the end of the season we will. But
Sorry
enough
about that,
rambling.
folks.
Go Indy.
Thanks for listening. We really, 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 really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome, but don't forget, forever and always, go Philly, go Eagles, let's go Birds, let's get in! Ho, ho, ho. And Sixers as well.
Oh yeah,
Man.
trust the process.
Jared Goff, I love you, baby. Don't let me down. Let's go, Rams.
4th overall pick in the next year's draft. Let's go Jags.
Carson Wentz throwing 4 touchdowns this week. Let's get it in. Career high.
Maybe we can finally get a defense. Let's go, Indy.
All right, bye.
Yeah, peace.
Go Jags! Go Eagles!
Ooh, I
That
don't
doesn't
know if
scare
I
me.
got you in that slate.
I don't think you did, dude.
You'll be on the street though.
Sleeves.
Hold on, we still live.
That's cute.
Nobody say anything incriminating.